Welcome to Business Chats with Debbie, where we talk big stories for small businesses. I'm your host, Debbie Warburton, and today I've got the lovely Roman Drew in from Truro Recycling. Hello!
Hello.
You've come quite a way, haven't you? Well, a bit of a way.
Well, about 40 minutes today. Traffic wasn't too bad, so...
It normally isn't on... I've noticed on a Friday, the traffic is a bit... People seem to be working...
It was Carnon Cross. Getting to Carnon Cross was a nightmare, and actually from home to Playing Place was backed all the way up to get into Truro. So yeah, it took a minute or two this morning.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I guess we're not too early this morning.
I don't think there's too many people around at this time, because I think Friday people tend to I'm working from home.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's a lot quieter. But
sure
anyway, you've got a big recycling plant down in Truro.
Yeah.
Where you recycle all scrap metal.
Yes, we do a few things down at Truro Recycling. So we've got the scrapyard down there. We are the only licensed boat breakers in Cornwall. So we do anything from a small boat, basically, right up to a big ship. What else do we do? So we do a lot of non-ferrous, ferrous metals. We also do a lot with the councils. We do the... lost my words now. Council car collection, so the abandoned vehicles. We work a lot with the environmental protection.
Yeah.
Seeing an increase, especially this month, with abandoned caravans. People just leaving them on the side of the roads.
Really?
Yeah. So we obviously get the emails to come over, and then we'll go and collect them. And people are just, I don't know if it's because the waste price is so high now, which it has.
Caravans are mainly like, I won't say cardboard, they are really. If you see
they are.
If you see them having an accident, they're just like cardboard scattered all over the road.
The issue is we get a lot of phone calls, and people will be asking, how much am I going to get for my caravan? The issue is a caravan.
Oh, and then one's conveniently jumped on the side.
I know. Just keep a list, really. I know who's done what. But people tend to just abandon them because they don't want to pay the price to get rid of them.
Well, that leads us really on to the new venture that you've ventured on, which is the WeWaste, which is the recycling side of things.
Yeah, so
we were talking before I came on about when I said when we were little. No, he's a lot younger than I am, so it wasn't when we were little. It's when I was little. It was glass bottles for everything. So I used to remember going down to the shop and get me lemonade. It was a glass bottle. Take it back. You get your deposit back. Milk was in glass bottles, and then plastic appeared.
Yeah.
And we evolved into the throwaway society. Oh, it's broken, throw it in the bin, we'll get a new one.
Yeah.
Same with computers, do you know what I mean? Because a laptop was that was pre-COVID, because they're now really expensive. Oh, it's broken down, I'll throw it in the bin and get a new one.
Yeah.
So that's where you come in, because you're trying to stop that wastage, going to landfill, and recycle it all, really, aren't you?
So we've always done WeWaste. We've got an environmental permit to do WeWaste. It's never something I was too focused on to start with when I obviously came into the business, but it's something now which is such a pressing matter, especially, offices are getting bigger, people working from home.
Yeah.
I mean, the turnover of computers and laptops now is a lot higher than it was years ago.
Because they don't last very long. You don't think, I've got a computer that's going to last me, like my washing machine's going to last me 10, 15 years.
They don't. A
3 years, you're looking at a new one.
Oh, yeah, until they start getting slow, and then, they're not productive enough to keep going on.
And then it's too costly to get them fixed, to make them go fat. You might as well just throw it away and get a new one.
So what we do now, we're a transfer station down in Truro, but we do a lot of WeWaste, all electrical waste, so small appliances.
TVs, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so everything really, monitors, laptops, work a lot with schools, offices, lots of commercial companies basically that have a high turnover. But we deal with everything. There's not a dedicated specialist in Cornwall.
Yeah.
There is a lot of IT specialists which like to recycle and updo the computers, but that's not really where our focus is at the minute. We are purely there for recycling. So everything gets recycled down to the plastics, the screens. Some things are more difficult than others to recycle.
Yeah.
Some things are worth money, some things aren't. But on an overall scale, we like to get everything back, everything recycled, and then get everything.
Yeah, we've got to, haven't we? Do you know what I mean? It's just,
you have now, yeah.
You just you look at the landfill sites and you think, well, hang on a minute, how many landfill sites can we actually build to dump rubbish?
The problem is with the WeWaste now, it's the lithium-ion batteries as well, because the lithium-ion batteries are causing a big problem in waste, scrap metal sites, and it's even down to a lot of people doing the vapes, elf bars, stuff like that. people just chuck them in the bin.
And they leak,
They've got a battery in them.
They leak.
And they're so flammable. So flammable. You can take a waste site up in minutes.
Yeah.
If they're crushed or compacted. So yeah, it's been a little bit, there's a lot more.
So if I'm behind a bin lorry and it blows up, I know they've compacted it.
Well,
there's probably some lithium batteries.
Potentially, yeah, that's probably going to be the main cause nowadays.
No, me, I'd be the one back behind it and end up with all the rubbish all over my car.
Yeah, so they are becoming a big issue. There's a lot more talk about it now. I'm not sure what the future is with, throwaway batteries.
We have all these ideas, don't we? We'll do this, we'll do that, but there's no actually thought process as to when the life of that thing comes to an end.
Yeah.
What do you actually do with it?
It's very similar to the electric cars that are obviously being rolled out. I'm very for the electric cars, but the life cycle on a battery is going to cost just as much to replace a battery as it would go out and buy another car, basically. And the lifespan of a battery is 10 to 15 years. Well, it was when I did a course a year ago on it.
And it's changing all the time, isn't it? Because my thing is, well, okay, if you've got a battery in there and your wheels are turning, then why can't those wheels charge that battery? And they do, but they don't charge it sufficiently enough that do you know what I mean? You're charging the battery all the time, which is it's
also going to pose very difficult for people like me that are in the scrapyards. I mean, I don't do none of the dirty manual work, but I got to do the paperwork, which is sometimes a bit harder.
Yeah.
And the regulations and the equipment you need to dismantle now an electric vehicle. You're talking about electrics now. It's completely different kettle of fish to.
Have you had any electric cars come through yet?
Yeah, we've had a couple.
I didn't think they were that. Do you know what I mean? I know they're old. They've been
more
around
so
for quite a few
hybrids.
years. Yeah.
Hybrids, obviously, because is it the Toyota, the quite common taxi driver's car?
This is the Toyota one,
Prius,
yeah.
The Prius,
yeah.
obviously the Prius has been
Prius
out
have been out for
a
long
while,
hasn't it? Yeah.
And we're already seeing them starting to come up to the end of their life now.
Yeah.
And it is going to make it difficult.
Yeah, never thought about that.
Yeah. It's going to be the dismantling stage, which is going to be the hardest part anyway.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a value in a car now, obviously, for the metal and all the rest of the components.
And it's the parts as well, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's
but obviously, as they develop cars...
It's a dear do having a car nowadays, do you know what I mean? It's like, years and years ago, it'd be like, oh, it needs a couple of tyres on it. Yeah, or it needs a repair. But any repair on it now, you're looking at over £500. Do you know what I mean? With labour costs.
You say that. We found, a couple of years ago when the cars really were busy coming in, we were doing sort of 5 a day constantly, booking in like 2 weeks in advance. Now I think people can't afford to go out and buy new cars. So they're repairing what they have. Yeah. And it was funny because someone said about the second-hand car market the other day, you're lucky to find a car under 100,000 miles anymore.
Really?
Yeah, second-hand cars.
I must admit, I did my mum's insurance the other day because computers and my mum don't go together. So I was doing my mum's car insurance, and her car's actually gone up in value on her insurance from what it was last year. And I was like, really? And it's because of the value of cars has gone up. I didn't even think about it.
Backlog with new cars coming and stuff into the country. Like that. It's like we've got a new van now, which we ordered, and it was supposed to be here like 9 months ago. And we've literally only just got it.
Backlog, isn't there? Yeah.
The backlog is just ridiculous. You find a lot of companies now are buying, pre-approved used vehicles, as opposed to waiting for new because they just can't wait that long.
Yeah, but then the market on used vehicles is, do you know what I mean? You'll pay to
substantially high. As well as obviously the interest rate went right up with buying new vehicles as well. Yeah. We had a quote for one which we had 9 months ago compared to a cheaper one now, and the price difference was phenomenal.
It affects everything, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's a big downward. Do you know what I mean? I've got quite a few farmers, and do you know what I mean? The food prices have gone through the roof. But they were talking about the fertiliser, and 2 years ago we was paying £7,000 a year for fertiliser. Yeah, it's now triple that. Yeah. So the cost has got to go somewhere, but it's like, well, hang on a minute. It's like, where does it stop?
Where we find it difficult in our industry is people always want the most for their money when it comes to scrap. And it's very competitive, even though Cornwall's quite a small place for scrapyards. Yeah. people will ring around to different ones to see what money they can get for different things, and it's virtually pennies.
Yeah.
But the issue is our cost in the scrapyard has gone through the roof as well.
You've got all your environmental licences as well to get here as well to make sure that
my joy of a job. The environmental, the health and safety.
Yeah.
Obviously, they stop red diesel in the scrapyards with demolition and construction, and that cost has to go somewhere. I mean, we're not getting any more for the metal, but people want more for their metal. So, you know, there's a fine line there, really, of who swallows that.
Yeah.
And at the minute, it's the smaller independent businesses that are having to swallow it.
Yeah. I know. Well, thank you so much for coming in today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Because I think the wee side of things, recycling, is so important, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, guys, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.